Never mind me while I'm stepping out my circumference. I feel the nerves trickling down. It's life humbling. My words stutter, stumbling, staggered, I'm caught off guard. This the life of a jigaboo, introverted, I'm scarred. Whoa. My mother been the melodies while they sing the choruses. Direct message from slaves saying we need more of it. Paranoia in my state, I see envy at high rates. Now it's crop off the fate, turn great so I fly straight. Was gone for a minute, now I'm back like an ex with big factors. I see you turn flat like extinct like some raptors. When I drop food prayer, precision, practice and patience, we move to greener pastures. They're saying life is a matter of mastering basics and mastering patience. More time I get tired of waiting. Maybe it's fate procrastinating, the times are bad, so it really had me sprung. Like she got me doing things that I never do. You thought that we connected when in fact it was trauma bonding. Just leave it up to me to break the rules, never corresponding. My childhood filled with fence climbs and knee scrapes and bikes and kicking it by the street signs. The older I get, I'm trying to lessen any screen time. The bounce back heavy, I rock steady on climb. This one's a fucking loop, the news will pick and choose whatever truth they wanna give to you. I cannot stomach it, so I poop. Oops. When life turns sweeter, the lemon mouths get louder. But I'm amplified with ghosts from God like that boy Fowler. Working like I got that point to prove. But truth be told, the proof is right in the pudding, no point to lose. 60 for the crepes, yeah, I did that just because. She expected more, girl, you know I'm saving up. Left me on red, well, it was what it was. Never stress over them joints or in downs when times get rough, so I ghost. Long are the days when we was close, and when I see you, it's like two completely different type of goats I approach. The weekly fire dropping, which I'm feeding. Still, I don't expect to be the one, your boy having fun. Still, the songs get spun like Beyblades and teacups. My fun fair to those that ever really know me from jump. So what's up, I've been the one they all depended on like TJ. Now they're dead wilder than a furry knockout punch, leaving them straight stunned. It's hella fun. Through the lot, now you know I'm coming through. When the growth look good on you, best believe they wanna screw now. I've been trying to climb, devil threw me in the dark. Baby, don't be insecure, you can still go make a mark like blow. Could never let them drain my soul now. Blow. Table turning like doorknobs, wow. Blow. I think I'm about to set sail. I'm a walking, living legend, walking with my chest out. Life keep dealing me cards, I keep fitting in love.
Yo, big up people, big up, good morning to everybody. Good Saturday morning to everybody in the building. I know it's a bit weird, isn't it? Like me streaming on a Saturday, but I said, you know what? Why not? I got some free time. England, of course, played, and I did say that I would try and cover all of the England games, and that does include the warm-up games, if you want to call them friendlies, etc., etc. Guys, as per usual, please make sure you are smashing that like button. Please make sure you do share, and most importantly, if you haven't done so already, please make sure you just subscribe to the damn channel. Like, that would be nice. That would be nice. And also as well, if you haven't done so, make sure you guys, after this video has ended, or, you know, just open it up on another tab. Keeping it GTV, dropped a new video this morning, looking at the Dragon Ball Z game, actually. So make sure you guys go on after this video, just check that out. Even if you don't watch all of it, I don't need you to. Just smash the like button. That's all I'm ever asking for. Please, please, please smash that like button. Big up everybody inside. Big up Social Joins. Hope you're doing well. Big up LA in the building. Big up Hakeem as well. And big up KLFC. So, oh my God, England. So, another shit show. Another shit show. But this time England lost. England lost. We didn't have the comfort of the victory to kind of hide behind, you know, to kind of say, you know what, doesn't matter about the performance. I know Gareth had already rehearsed what he was going to say. Probably knew England were going to play kind of dead, etc., etc. But you know, if you win 3-0 or whatever, like you did against Bosnia, he can kind of hide behind that, right? He can just be like, yeah, no, you know what, the players, you know, we're still not up to scratch, but we still got the victory in. You know, I saw some good stuff in that game, etc., etc., which he kind of did allude to, you know, in his post-match conference anyway. So I was just like, all right, fair enough, Gareth, you know, do your thing, do your thing. Lost 1-0 to Iceland. As I said yesterday when I did the preview, we got history. We got history with Iceland. You know, knocked England out of the Euro 2016 tournament, then beat them yesterday at Wembley. I believe that when I saw that, yesterday was the third time in a row that England have gone behind in games at Wembley anyway. So I was like, right, Wembley's not really this fortress, if I'm being totally honest with you. So, it is what it is. I mean, in a general sense, before we, talk about a couple of the players and, we'll go through like player ratings and stuff like that. Like, yeah, in a general sense, like, I mean, it was just England. Like, I don't even know how to even explain that one. Because I feel like again, it's honestly England and Liverpool. Honestly, you jar me a lot. You jar me a lot because you see the same things all the time, and it's like the same things that I end up talking about every time I do a review or analysis or whatever. It's the same things. It's like, are you ever going to change? Like, are you ever going to be any different? Am I asking for too much from England? Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. Let's see what people are saying. Big up, Kels. England is a rabble. Yep, absolutely rubbish. Victor saying England is terrible during friendlies. I don't. I wouldn't even say they're terrible though during the friendlies. When you look at it, to be fair, in 2024 they've been terrible, and I'll show you guys their recent form. But when you think about it, usually England win. Like we beat Bosnia 3-0 the other day. Do you get what I'm saying? So friendlies is never usually the place where I'm like, oh yeah, England are gonna lose a game anyway, so to speak. And it's usually gonna be in tournament football, and it usually is against like a half decent side, kind of thing. Angel saying Iceland are ranked 72nd by FIFA. Yes, Southgate is inept, but the players were diabolical. Yep. And that's why I put the poll out. Like what went wrong with England yesterday or last night, should I say? Was it a case of just the players? Was it the manager? Is it just the fact that it's just England and we just have to kind of, accept this, etc., etc.? Yeah, so yeah, it's one of those, man. It's one of those. Big up ends in the building. Hope you're doing well, my bro. Hakeem saying didn't watch the game but feel bad for the Mainu kid. I don't know why they are rushing him into the spotlight. Hey, look, Mainu, Wharton, he's throwing them in. Yeah, I mean, like they're good players anyway, to be fair. So I wouldn't even say spotlight because the reality is they threw themselves into the spotlight by performing, well in the league anyway. So yeah, this is what comes with it. And also, I saw something yesterday, and I should have got the video up. Something from Ten Hag. I think it was after Manchester United beat Man City in the FA Cup, and he spoke about. And it's funny because it's coming from Ten Hag, right? But he was spitting facts. He spoke about like the fact that in England with the media, and I said this yesterday as well, with the media, you hype up these managers, you hype up these players just to only tear them down when they have like a one or two bad performances, kind of thing. And that's just the case. You guys already know if England do not win this tournament or get knocked out like super early, like imagine England get knocked out of the group, Odin, Harry Kane, all of these guys are going to be seen as just nothing. They're honestly just going to be seen like nothing. Like, oh, they're not even really that good. We saw what happened when the players missed the penalties and stuff like that. Like all of this stuff is going to start coming into play, and it just shows you that's what you probably really and truly feel. But you want to do the whole I'm a fan. I want to, what I mean, let me support the lads and stuff like that, only to tear them down 2 seconds later. It's like pick a side, bro. Either you're supporting them when they do crap and you just keep that kind of energy, or I mean, you just don't say anything at all. I'd rather you just didn't say anything and you never hyped them up. I remember there was a tournament. It must have been one of Gareth's earliest tournament, whether the first or the second one, where they didn't even hype up England at all. Even the media were like, they didn't. It's like they were scared to even do it. And I was like, oh my god, this is like the first time I've ever seen it heading into a tournament where the media are not even hyping up England. And that's when you knew, like, right, they weren't sure. I can't remember if it was like his very first tournament as England manager or the second one, but I just remember them not hyping up England at all because it was just like, we don't really know what to expect. So yeah, they need to get back to that, man. They need to get back to that. Let me bring the man himself in. Big up JJ. We saying broski?
What's going on? What's going on? Can you guys hear me? Yeah.
Yeah, she actually clear as day, boy. Clear as day, boy.
Clear as day.
You
Perfect,
good?
perfect. Yeah, I'm calm, and I'm calm. Just in the car working. Some people are still working in it on Saturdays,
Yeah.
but apart from that, yeah, I'm all good, man. I'm all good. All sweet.
No, I hear you, man. I'm going to get your thoughts in a second in regards to the game last night. Social Join saying, I only have 3 takes on this game. 1, that Brexit front line ain't it. 2, if you're mixing the front line, the Palace boys need to start. And 3, Foden ain't the guy. Never will be overrated. Eesh. Yeah, you guys got some harsh takes, boy. Mainu is a good talent, but he's clearly not ready for the big stage. English media are hyping the kid up and getting ready to drag him down. Yeah. But we know that's how England stay. Victor saying exactly. Liverpool have been like England for the last 2 years of bettling this shit coaching. Oh my God. Iceland were disciplined and compact, a deserved win. They were aggressive and mobile. 100%. And we'll talk about that in a second. Like they had chances, by the way, people. I'm not even, I'll show you guys the stats in a sec. It's not like they were just, they scored and then they just sat back for the entirety of the game. No. They were carving England open at moments in that game, kind of thing. And they should have had a second. Like that guy, I can't remember who the striker's name is, when he slipped over when they were through in on goal. I was like, I was getting deja vu. Honestly, I was getting deja vu. Like watching Liverpool again, I was like, oh my God, same thing. And to say Manu isn't ready, he was lost. Yeah, he might be right. You may be right, man. Mustafa, I think good morning to you, by the way. I think Southgate not picking Bramford was a wrong choice because he called up Dunk. I like Dunk, though, to be fair. But with the injuries, we saw John Stones coming off yesterday. Southgate said it looks like he should be fine, but I guess we'll find out later on. Obviously, Kwanzaa's on the backup standby list as well. So, yeah, that whole defense just looks dead anyway, to be fair. And with this manager, it looks even worse. I reckon another manager, and we don't over-exaggerate it, but with him, you're like, nah, it looks dead, and I don't know how they're going to play. Ale saying, England just pretenders, they ain't winning nada. Clinton, good morning to you. Foden isn't a 10. He is a very pep system player. Palmer would do a better job there. Might be right. Social saying Mainu is too slow. He's not ready yet. Mainu is ready, bro. Okay, the media, I knew they'd be on him at 18. Nah, I hear it. Kels is saying England ain't winning it. Don't build your hopes up. Jay, man, chat to me, bro. Last night, how did you kind of see the game? Obviously, England lost 1-0 against Iceland again, the conquerors of England, clearly.
Yeah.
They got their number. But yeah, man, chat to me, man. Chat to me.
I'm not gonna lie, yeah. You see, like not being in the space, like not streaming, not being too overindulged in all of this, yeah. You get to really take a scope on how people like the reaction to one game, a game that doesn't mean anything, is crazy in this country. It is it is so crazy that you start to think like, do have people actually played football? Like people have actually like been in tournaments. Have you been on tour? Like I'm starting to become like that guy that's starting to say like, if you ain't kick ball like that, I don't really want to hear your perspective, because like first of all, and it's not everyone, but first of all, like I'm not an England fan, innit? I'm half Ghanaian, half Polish. You know how Ghanaians be, and you know how Polish people be. He ain't never repping England, innit? So I don't really care in that regard, innit? But I like the players that England have at the moment, and it's intriguing to go and watch how they're going and playing. If we're taking a larger scope on it, the game is an off game where they are still testing stuff out before the tournament. You don't want to be firing now and then plateau in the tournament. We've seen England do that before. If you go back to when Spain won the World Cup and they lost their first opening game and it looked like it was going to be terrible. They were winning games 1-0. They went smacking teams up. Do you know what I mean? So Italy, when they won the Euros, they came off the back of like double back-to-back losses or something like that. Do you know what I mean? Before they actually won it. These games don't really matter. Obviously, what matters is when you go and turn up. Now, of course, you can use these games to kind of judge certain players. Let's speak on Mainu. Didn't have the greatest performance, but my man's 18.
Yeah, of course.
When we criticize Elliot and when we criticize Curtis Jones, when we criticize all these young players, but he's young. Got to give him time. Let's not rush him, right? This guy's so good that he's actually in the team. He might have a game where he's off. He might just have a game when he's off. We speak about Foden. Foden's outstanding. He had a game where it was off. What about giving plaudits to Iceland? The fact that tactically they set up really well, and they made it difficult. They made it difficult for the players to kind of execute what they want to have to do. What about understanding that, like, Eze's, it's like his third appearance. Do you know what I mean, for England, out wide? Like, do you know what I mean, on the left? Like these guys don't understand each other. So I'm not looking. I would, like, as a fan, if I was an England fan, I wouldn't look at this game like it's devastating. Like, oh my god, I can't believe what's going on. And then
we were doing so well. We were doing so well with this Wi-Fi. We was doing so well. But nah, just to kind of echo what Jerry was kind of saying. It's like I said, what Ten Hag was saying, like I said yesterday, we do build these players up, and then when they do have a poor performance, I think, you know what, yeah, with England, it's always so tricky as well. Because remember, England haven't won nothing since 1966, and they've had some real dead tournaments, if I'm being totally honest with you, like real dead tournaments. So
hello,
where they've had, okay,
you guys hear me?
you're back? Yeah, now you're back. Nope, he's not back. Yo. Yeah, anyways, where England have had these kind of tournaments where done fantastically well in friendlies, like excellent, win 5-0, 6-0, 7-1, whatever the case may be. And then they go to the tournaments, and then you're just like, right, as Jerry said, you end up you plateau. Then you've had, games where it's like this, or friendlies where it's like this, and you're like, oh, okay, fairs, not really done so well, but okay, let's see what they do in the actual tournament itself. And then they don't do well. So then you're just like England have done both sides of things. And that's where I think maybe that's probably where people are coming from in, you know what I mean, in that kind of sense. Let's see if he's back. Yo.
Yeah, apologies. I got a call from work, innit? And when you're using
yeah.
an app, it cancels everything, innit? You've probably seen it, like, on the phone.
No.
So, but
It's all
signal's
good, bro.
calm now. But as I was saying, yeah. So, like, Foden, fantastic player. It didn't work out, in it. Like, he got in the half spaces. He's been asked to do a role that's a bit different for what he's doing at England. For people to say, like, he's overrated, he's this, he's that, like, off one performance. So what if Trent had a bad performance yesterday? Man would be saying, "Oh, he's overrated. He needs to be dropped. We need to swap him out with X player. With Madison needs to come back in because Trent's not good enough." It's like, you need to just, yeah, that's my point. Is that we shouldn't, like, we need to just relax, in it. Like, cool. Like, there's things we can take away. Like, there's things you can maybe say and be like, oh, you know what? Maybe this player fits in this position a bit better. You can have the debate on whether you want Trent in midfield. Can you guys hear me? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. No, brother, I'm so paranoid now with my connection recently. I feel like everything's getting mad. But I'm saying I think you can have those debates. You can have debates on, like, who do you think should start, like, for games, what partnership works best. Like, those things are fine. But to go and look at, like, the intricate details, like, oh well, this player now, like, we need to just relax in it. It is what it is. It's calm. It's a loss against Iceland. Would you, like, as a fan, cool, you lose this game, but if you win the tournament, are you going to look back on this game like it was, do you know what I mean? Like, you're not. It is what it is. Tournament football's different. England are in a good position. They've got a good squad. Do you know what I mean? Southgate's done what everyone wanted in terms of dropping the players that people think aren't doing as well. And he's picked the likes of Eze, he's picked the likes of, like, Bowen, Watkins, all these players that are performing better than your stereotypical players, like your Rashfords, your this, your that. So we need to just wait and see what rewards that reaps, in it. But I think you need to just relax, bruv. It's not that deep, in it. Like, they won 1-0. If anything, a loss gives you more to learn about than just if you just slapped Iceland. Do you get it? Like, in the lead up to a tournament, it's like playing against an Iceland team that have got they're looking at this game like it means more to them for their history and stuff. They're sitting back, they're fighting. It's a good experience to go and have, in it. It's like what I say with like boxing. As a boxer, when you're in camp, you need to get pumped up sometimes, innit? You need to bring someone in that's gonna, like, that beats you. You hear all these stories like, wow, Tyson Fury was in camp and my man knocked him out, but then he goes against Wild and destroys him. It's because you need to have that prep. And for tournaments, I think you need to play against teams that are awkward. And Iceland are just an awkward team to play against. They're very big, they're very physical, and they're organised, innit? And they're gonna want it more than you, especially if you're not in a tournament setting like that. I don't know what you guys think, but yeah.
No, I think obviously I think you'd gone when I was just speaking there before, earlier on, and I think it's like a mixture of the both. I think when it comes to, obviously, not everybody, of course, there are some people who they're going to over exaggerate either way, really and truly, right? But I think when I'm watching England anyway, and I'm always thinking to myself, like I said it yesterday on my preview, I said I didn't really care about the result. The result weren't really. I'll treat it the same way I'll treat a preseason friendly. Obviously, you don't want to lose. I don't care if it's a preseason game or it's a knockabout with the man. Them like I'm not trying to lose at all. You're always trying to, you know, what I mean, you're always trying to win. Even though, as you said there earlier on, a defeat might give you more to, you know, say somewhat learn about, especially with some of these new players like the Eze's, the Whartons, and Gays, Konzards, and stuff like that. Joe Gomez back into the squad, so it might give you a bit more to think about. For me, it's all about the performance and how you kind of play, and I think that's where I looked at England, you know, yesterday, and I was just a bit like everything you're saying about Iceland. I totally agree with because of it's. I want to prop up Iceland, but then of course I don't really care. One, they're not in the Euros anyway because they didn't make it, but then also the sheer fact that I'm just going to obviously be focusing purely more on an England side of thing, even though I do think Iceland were really, really good. And when I'm looking at like some of the stats, and I was even thinking back towards the game, and I was like, I remember even asking myself, have England had a big chance? And I was like, oh yeah, Cole Palmer, when he went through on goal, and obviously he fluffed his lines. He should be scoring there. Don't know why he didn't, but more often than not, he probably would score in that situation. Not a problem. Harry Kane as well on 9 times out of 10.
Which one? Who?
There was the
Which
Cole
one?
Palmer when he got.
Who missed that?
Cole Palmer when he got played through in on goal, tried to round the
fluffed their
keeper,
lines?
went to, he can't hear me, can he? Yo. Yeah, no, he can't hear me. But yeah, there's the Cole Palmer chance, and then obviously the Harry Kane chance. 9 times out of 10, bro, he puts that away. He puts that away. You know what I mean? Like that's just Harry Kane.
Oh yeah.
So you know, it is one of those kind of things. So I was sitting there thinking,
I
okay, cool, yeah, those. There are obviously like. Yeah, your thing is bare delayed. You're definitely yeah. True, you might need to hop
I
up.
can hear you, bro.
Oh, you can hear me? Yeah, no. You're definitely delayed still. Um, yeah. But either way, yeah, I think that's the kind of case when it comes to England. What are you trying to expect to see? And I think when I'm looking at their patterns of play and certain things, it doesn't seem to matter what players you're using. It really doesn't seem to matter. It seems like man's using one set of players. Okay, cool. Man's using one set of players, whether it be the strongest team that he's got, and they're playing whatever way that he wants them to play. Cool, that's his way, not a problem. But it's still clearly not conducive to allowing certain players to play well. Then he throws in some of these other players, and of course, you're going to see a bit of a mismatch, etc., etc. But again, it's the exact same thing that we see with the main players, but now I'm just seeing it with a different set of players. So I'm seeing Eze or this guy. They're showing their own individual brilliance, and that's something again. I know, obviously, I'm a Liverpool fan, so I'm gonna liken it to them, but they're so similar, where you rely heavily on individual brilliance as opposed to there being some form of, obviously there's patterns of play because everyone's got that, but some real patterns of play where you should be able to or be in a position whereby you can break down some of these teams, because the reality is, bro, you're not playing with players like, oh, I don't have the players to do it. We're not in that position. You've actually got the players to be able to do so. And it seems like since Southgate has gotten here, this is the kind of games that we've seen. Now, as we saw against Bosnia, I thought England played poorly in that game, but you walk away with a 3-0 victory. It doesn't get seen as badly, and you maybe think, okay, I can change up this, change up that, which is obviously done against Iceland last night. But then we're seeing the exact same things. Now you're coming up against an even more organized team, a team who actually know how to sit in, a team that know when to hit you on the counter-attack, like they did on numerous occasions, you know what I mean, last night. You see the result. Now, I'm not saying that's going to happen in the Euros, because it might not happen, but I've seen this for 20 years. Yeah, 20 years, I can easily say.
Cool.
I've seen this with England, so.
Cool. Being devil's advocate then, yeah. I know you're saying that like, we're not seeing like patterns of play and stuff, even though sometimes I think like England play like better football than they have done in a while. Southgate, obviously, first of all, as England manager, is probably in recent years is the most successful manager to take them to that precipice, in it. Like they got to the final of the Euros, semi-final of the World Cup, if I believe. If I might be wrong, so don't kill me on it, but he's obviously done well in that regard. Bar the Spain team, though, in terms of style of play, that had the core of Barcelona players that just played their way, and they had other players dotted around that fit what they were doing. Every team, for me, in international football relies on individual brilliance. It's why Messi needs to go and perform for Argentina to do well, even though they started that campaign poorly in the World Cup. It's why you got to give the ball to Mbappe, and and why Ronaldo was able to do what he's doing. It's very much an individual's game, because you haven't got the same amount of time to go and be like to create this system of play where you may not have the best players in every position, but you can end up having a system where everyone's cohesive and all that type of thing. And I think what even like the players he's picked, who are the players that have been the best in the season? Because they're going to be the ones on form, and we're going to need players when it's a 0-0 game. Who's going to come on and change the game for us? Who's going to be able to go and win the game for us? I don't think there should be as much of an onus, or there's an argument to say there shouldn't be as much of an onus on our necessarily style of play and all of that type of stuff. Because when you look at it, able to kind of replicate what Barca did, because the core of the team was the Barcelona team. If the players were dotted around at different clubs, I don't think you are able to do that at all. I don't know what you guys think of that.
No. Sorry, I didn't know if you finished. I think again, I guess the only thing I can come back on that is that the problem you've got with that argument is that England do not possess a player like Mbappe, Ronaldo, or Messi in that kind of realm. And I don't mean you need to necessarily be of that. Obviously, Messi, Ronaldo. Let's take those two out of it, actually, because I feel like that's.
But they got Kane. But they got Kane. You've got Trent. Like you've got Foden.
No. Okay, cool. So you're literally, and that's the problem. These other teams don't have that. They don't have you can pick Ronaldo, and then you've got other players who are kind of more or less on that. No, Ronaldo is above everybody else. In England's team, you don't really have like all the best players in England's team. Let's be real, they're all kind of like in their own respective positions. Trent is as good as he is, as Kane is up front. Like they're all on the same kind of level. If you want to maybe put them in order and say, nah, you think maybe this player is, but yeah, cool. But the gap isn't like a Ronaldo to whoever the next best player is. Let's just say, for argument's sake, because I don't know Portugal's squad, let's just say Bruno Fernandes. But that gap is huge. Messi to whoever the next best, that gap is huge. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So when we're looking at it, it's like, yeah, but that's always going to, Sabozalai at Hungary, the gap is huge between him and the next player. So the team are going to play more for this player anyway. Whereas with England, like I was saying yesterday in the preview, the problem they're always going to have is that because all these guys are all good in their own, Foden, Trent, Harry Kane, if you want to say Gordon's obviously had a good season, Cole Palmer's had an excellent season. Like they've got so many players who are like all, you know what I mean, all decent or whatever. There's not going to be this one focus. Like there's not going to be this one, okay, this individual player is he's just going to be the one to, bail us out of this situation because he's the guy for our team. We've got so many players, we end up doing the thing of Trent, okay, where should he play? Now you're asking questions. Foden, where should he play? Now we're asking questions. Kane, what role should you do? Now you're asking questions. Bro, no other team, in my opinion, is doing that because they will have a distinct style of play. England don't know what to do, and maybe this is a problem that everybody would love to have, but you end up getting into a situation where it's like, I don't know what to do. I don't even know what style of play because I've got Trent who can do these amazing things, but I've got Phil Foden who's brilliant. I've got Saka who's a really good wide player.
But that's what I'm saying, and I think that's where, and I think exactly, and I think that's where the like fans, I think people that are like intrigued in England have a problem trying to decipher England, because not only are you viewing England a bit more, like when you go and look at, for example, like Portugal had this issue because when Ronaldo was doing Ronaldo stuff, right? But Ronaldo was getting older, right? It was still Ronaldo's got to play because he can win you the game. But you've got João Felix who can also ball out, and you've got Jota who's clinical, and you've got Leao. So how are you going to fit all these players into the team? You go and look at on the contrary, like Argentina. The difference is that when you've got someone like that is again so much above everyone else. It doesn't matter how good Di Maria plays. It don't matter if Di Maria is playing in his best position. It don't matter about that. Guess what, Di Maria? You're going to do this role, and you're just going to do that role well because the team's built around this person. Now, what England have to do, and I think Southgate's got an idea, but I think what England fans have to do is amongst themselves kind of think about it and be like, all right, cool. We've got these players, and they're all really good. But to win the tournament, you may not see the best version of Foden because the role is different that he has to do than he does at City. You may not see the Kobe Mainu that you go and see at United because the role he's got to do is different. You may not see Jude Bellingham scoring 10 goals in the tournament because he's going to have to play deeper because Southgate's decided to build the team around Kane or build the team around Trent. And I think what's intriguing is in the last 2 games, how pivotal Trent's been in terms of what Southgate's trying to do and the fact that Southgate keeps talking about Trent. I think there's your answer in terms of where the team's being built around and why Trent doesn't start, but then he brings him on to go and see what's the difference when he starts, what's the difference when he doesn't start. What's the difference when he plays at centre mid, what's the difference between he was at right back, but he's still playing these games. Because I think Southgate's got an idea of where he wants the creativity to come from. But if that's the case, that means that the person that's in midfield on that right-hand side or the winger, which is Saka, isn't going to be as effective because Trent's going to get the ball. Where Trent goes, Saka's got to... Like, I remember in that game when Trent came on, Trent was outside. All of a sudden, Trent just came in the middle and Saka was like, all right, I've got to go outside. But every pass was going to Trent. You're not going to get to the same Saka that you see at Arsenal. So you can't now get onto Saka or get onto these players because they're not playing well and then say, oh, they're not good enough. They're not doing this. They're not doing that. Well, they're not going to do that because it's impossible for every player to be like the big fish in that team, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So the only way you're able to do that is like, cool, if you want to get the best out of Kane, that's fine. Like in terms of creating him, that means you need mad runners off him. So Foden's not going to be coming short to get the ball. You ain't going to see his passing because you're going to have to make off the ball runs. Saka's going to have to make off the ball runs. If Kane's dropping in, then guess what? You can't have Trent playing as well because Trent's going to want to come inverted naturally. You saw it in the game, even if he's playing at right back. He's going to want to come and get involved in play. So if that's the case, you need someone that's going to be out wide. All these things make a difference. And I think, again, England don't know who they're building this team around. You just want to keep calling these players golden generations, the best generation since Rio and this, that. Yeah, that's another example. Yeah, that's another example where man didn't know who to build a team around, and unfortunately, it was just a team of good players. But on any given day, a player can do well. Like Gerrard can score a screamer, Lampard will run onto a finish. You might have Rooney that will get you a goal, but the team's not built around anyone. If that makes sense.
No. Big up Junior, man. Big up Harris in the building. Thank you for joining us. I think this is exactly, it's a problem that England. It's a problem you want to almost have because you've got so many dope players, right? I'm not going to do this whole these men ain't good because they are blatantly good. So we know that they're good players. I do think
in terms of squad and players available, let's just be honest, it's probably one of the best we've seen. Where you can get where you can afford to drop Grealish, you can afford to drop Maddison, and no one's looking at it like, the squad's missing something. You can afford to drop Rashford, you can afford not to bring Sancho. Like back in the day, like it was just you had
in the attacking sense,
because otherwise you had Flavian Delph in it. Like that's what I'm saying from an attacking standpoint. That's where we're talking about. Like obviously you can't play, your team can't be based around obviously the defense. I mean it can do, but it means that do you know what I mean, boy, we've tried to do that before, innit, with England, where you had better defenders, but the forwards are a bit mad. You had like Rooney and that's it, and that don't really work. So I don't know, man. It's interesting, but go ahead anyway. I keep interrupting.
No. Like I said, and guys, when England kick off, I think on the 16th, I think that's in 8 days. So just before the tournament starts, we'll be doing like the England review just to kind of take a deeper look at this. But I think what Jerry's saying though, like I fully agree with in terms of when we're looking at it on that kind of value, right? In terms of how England are, and obviously I know people are gonna, would I say, somewhat overreact to these kind of games. I mean, I'm not saying you shouldn't, because the reality is, regardless of anything, you are playing a poorer team. You are a significantly better team. So obviously a result like that is going to pose some type of questions. It will be almost like Manchester City losing to Sheffield United, if I'm being totally honest with you, in terms of they're ranked 72nd. England are ranked God knows where. So, it's one of those lower teams. Sheffield United, Luton, if they lost, there'd be some type of inquest into, what's going on here? Like, you shouldn't be losing to these kind of teams because of the type of players and, the football that you guys should be playing, right? As good as they may be on the day, don't really matter. You should still be winning. But England will always have this issue, and that's always been my issue with Southgate, is that I almost feel that he doesn't really know, and he might know in the tournament, by the way. I have no idea. I ain't psychic. Maybe in the tournament, he already knows what's popping. As Jerry said, played Trent at centre mid, played him at right back. He might be looking at either one, and he's like, okay, he's going to play. He's put him down as a midfielder, to be fair, but maybe he might think, maybe I might just play him at right back instead. I have no idea. That could be, you know what I mean, the way forward. Junior, man, chat to us, man. I want to get your kind of thoughts, obviously, on the game, performances of certain players. Obviously, we're just focusing right now just on Trent, and then we'll move on to a couple of other players. Chat to us, man.
I think
big up the top baller. Pick up the top baller before you go. Big up, man.
Come on.
When's pre-season starting, Junior?
I'm gonna do my pre-season in Jamaica.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I did it there last year, and it's not nice. The heat.
Yeah, but at least at least you'll be ready come the season start, man.
Yeah.
At least you'll be ready. But yeah, go on, man. Chat to us, bro. Chat to us.
Yeah. So I was watching the game yesterday with my brother, and we were saying that there's too many players that like to drop deep, like Harry Kane, Foden, Palmer. Gordon just stays high and wide, and which is why I think if you're going to play a number 10, for example, if you want to play Bellingham, he has to play because when you come too deep, you almost have no options. So you're seeing Palmer come deep, Foden, Kane, and it's like once they receive the ball, there's no one up top. So that's a little problem that I've noticed a couple of times when they're all playing. I mean, obviously that was the first time that they played yesterday, but it is a bit of a sticky situation when that happens. Like when I think it was the last international duty or the one before that, it was a midfield of Trent, Foden, and Rice. And Foden kept coming too deep for the ball, and that's Trent's job really. And then them two kept getting confused with each other. So it's like you're either going to stay up there and not come too deep for the ball, or you're going to come deep for the ball and you're just going to create a big confusion. So Foden loves to do that. I wouldn't play Foden as a 10, personally, in this England system. I think it should be Palmer. Kane, I think Kane dropping deep, I think that's something that he's always done. I don't think that's a tactic for him to do. That's just something that he likes to do.
Yeah.
And then obviously you've got Saka, who will hold the width, and I think Eze should probably play on the left. His end product is probably better than Gordon's, so yeah, I would say Eze on the left.
No. I thought, bro, I totally feel you, man. Just give me one second. Let me send this out. Mike, check your Twitter. But yeah, no, I think what you're saying, this is England, and it's going to be interesting to see them in this tournament. Like, I'm expecting one of two things. I'm expecting you to, and there isn't really a middle ground. I'm either expecting you to win the tournament or do extremely poor. I don't think there's going to be a middle ground with England in this tournament. I don't think there can be, really and truly, because then, yeah, I don't know what a middle ground even looks like, if I'm being 100% honest with you, in terms of England. Like, does middle ground mean you get to the quarterfinals, face France and lose? Like, would that be considered to be, for me, I'll be like...
You don't think, you think England are going to do poorly in this tournament?
No. There's three possibilities, right? You either do well, do poorly, or you do okay, depending on how you rate it.
I know, but in terms of being likely, do you think it's likely that England do poor in the tournament?
I don't think they win it.
I think they lose. I think they possibly lose the first game against Serbia. Because I think Serbia's a good team. They got Vlahovic, they got Mitrovic.
Oh yeah. They're very organized.
Yeah,
very organized.
Yeah, I think the problem is with those teams. They look 9 times out of 10 England beat Iceland in it. Like, I know
you say that.
Now, I'm saying 9 times out of 10. I'm saying 9 times out of 10 England will beat Iceland, because all that happens is again in a tournament setting where England need to go and win and need to get a result and stuff. I think England can go and do it, and I've proven it. Like when you go and just look at history under Southgate, they've proven it. They've gotten to the latter stages of competitions. Do you know what I mean? So I think they've proven it even against France. Like they weren't terrible against France when they lost, didn't it? Like was it in the Euro? No, in the World Cup? Was it Euros?
The World Cup.
Welcome.
The World Cup. The World Cup. Exactly. They weren't terrible, innit? They weren't terrible. Like I think we can't overhype England, but at the same time, I think like if they get beaten in their first game and stuff, then that's poor, innit? Like that's poor. As in England, if they get to quarterfinals and I think that's all right. Like all right, cool. Like I don't think England are the best nation, but they're not the worst. But I think that's more likely.
No,
than
but
anything else.
you could say that for like a bagger team, like Serbia. They're not the best nation, but they're not the worst nation. Like, are we putting them into that kind of realm?
But Serbia, I'm telling you now, like Eastern European teams, especially, yeah, they're very like direct in it, and everything's about this player, but the player's not good enough to take you like to that next place. I know they've got Mitrovic and Vlahovic, but they won't play both. Serbia are not going to play two up top, so one of them's going to play.
They've played Vlahovic more inside on the right. I'm not saying that he's gonna that they could do that, but I have seen them play a three of Tadic, Vlahovic, and Mitrovic before.
No, but that's not. I'm not even forget about even their players or whatever. Like we know that obviously a couple of the players that they've got. I'm just talking about. Are you putting? Obviously, I guess I'll ask you both. Are you putting, say, England on the same level as a Serbia? So you're saying that because obviously you're saying that England are obviously they're not the best, but they're not the worst. I'm like, yeah, but you can basically say that for more or less every single team in the tournament, kind of thing. There is a level like France, obviously, let's just say on paper, if we just looked at it, and obviously the fact that they've recently just won a World Cup and got to another final, just not too recently.
But if
France
Serbia,
are seen as one of the best teams. Go on. Oh, he's gone quiet. Let me bring him.
For me, if Serbia got to the quarterfinals, that'd be an outstanding achievement. It'll be an outstanding achievement for them. Like that's.
Bro, your thing is just, it's a bit crazy still.
Oh, this is trash, bro.
Hey, bring in Michael anyway. What you saying, Mike, man? You good?
Yo.
Mike.
Yeah.
Is it good with Jerry?
Yeah. I don't know, bro. You might need to jump out and jump back in,
What's wrong
bro.
with David Goggins here, bro? What's wrong with David Goggins, man? Man's supposed to be on a plan. He's aborting the plan here. I'm good, man. How are you?
No, I'm blessed, bro. I'm blessed. I love for jumping in. Guys, head on over to my featured playlist. You will see featured channel list. You will find, obviously, Michael is on there. Yeah, man. Obviously, we're talking about England as per usual. You know, would I say overreaction? I guess you can say somewhat overreaction, obviously, to their defeat, but we're just kind of trying to pick the bones at that game and etc. etc. How did you kind of see it? I don't know if you did watch the game or not, but yeah, how did you see it? And when we're looking at England, forget even the fact that you didn't watch it, the fact that you saw England lost 1-0, you've seen a couple of the things that people have said. How do you kind of see it with England? Obviously, you've done, by the way, guys, head on over to Michael because he's obviously done a review as well on all of the teams. Have you finished all the teams in?
Yep, all the teams.
Yeah. So all the teams is now done and dusted. So please check that out because it might give you a bit more of an insight into some of England's opponents as well throughout the tournament as well as other teams. But yeah, sorry. Go on.
No, I mean, look, I didn't watch the game, but I'm now looking at the lineup. So the problem is, I think Stones got injured. Is that right?
Yeah.
Like in the first couple minutes.
Yeah.
See, if he's injured, yeah, you're screwed. I can't lie, you're screwed. Because who's going to be the other center back? Dunk and Gahey?
Dunk, Gahey, Kwanzaa's on standby.
Gomez,
Ezri Konza, and Gomez are the other ones who could play there.
Yeah, see, like if Stones gets injured, I mean, I would say au revoir to your fucking Euros campaign. Even though I picked you guys to win the Euros, I think.
Oh, you actually
see. Yeah, I did pick England to win it because I think all of this negativity towards Southgate and all this, oh my god, overreaction, the players got to just perform. That's the end of the day. International football is not really about tactics. It's about how you play as a unit and the stars stepping up. So you're looking at Foden, you're looking at Kane, you're looking at Bellingham, you're looking at Rice, you're looking at Cole Palmer right now. You guys got to just step up. This is your tournament. We've seen it France. France, what did they do? Mbappe, Griezmann just stepped up in the last World Cup, even though Griezmann was a no-show in the final. Argentina, what do they have? They had Messi stepping up, Alvarez, McAllister, Enzo Fernandez. Sometimes tactics, they go out of the way in international football. And that's why I prefer international football, because this is where the stars shine. And this is where we see the quality. So I think England got a lot of quality, but it's now about your players changing the mentality, because at the end of the day, G, you have less Euros than Greece and Denmark.
Yeah, I know.
So like people can say, oh, England should be doing this, they should be doing that. They have one World Cup. That's less than Uruguay. So if you want to, you have to change the mentality from, okay, we're going to be satisfied getting to a semifinals, quarterfinal stage of a tournament, to actually winning it. That's a mentality change. You can say, oh, change the manager. This you've tried international managers, Fabio Capello, Sven-Goran Eriksson. It hasn't worked out. You've tried local elder managers like Roy Hodgson. Didn't work out. Now you tried Gareth Southgate, who's familiar with under 21s, and then you're going to say, oh, it hasn't worked out. He didn't get us over the line. I think it's just your players and just the mentality within the whole of English football. That has to just change. If you want to get to the top, like with Spain, Italy, France, Germany, Portugal, because Portugal have a Euros recently, then there's a switch that has to happen. That switch should have happened at the last Euros when you were hosting the final. That should have been the moment where, like, hey, we've gone to it. We basically hosted the whole Euros. But let's see. Let's see what happens, because now we're going to find out how good the English Premier League is. Because the best player, one of the best players in La Liga last season was English. For me, the best player last season in the Bundesliga was English. And then the player of the season in Premier League was Foden, English. So you basically have 3 of the best players in 3 of the top 5 leagues in Europe. I'm expecting them to just show up. But we'll find out, bro.
No. And that's what I said. I said, I feel like with England, that's why when hopefully David Goggins will come back. But that's what I was saying to him earlier on when he mentioned about England having all right. I was like, I don't feel like there's a middle ground. I don't think, as Michael said, that you get to the quarterfinals and you're like, oh yeah, that's fine. You get knocked out, no worry. Yeah, no, that'll be good. I don't see that as being a good tournament for England at all. If you get knocked out at the quarterfinal stage, as Michael said, with the players that you've got, you're like, bro, like seriously, like as you said, you named all of these players, and there's still other players that you still haven't even mentioned who are going to be considered very, very good players that most teams in world football would love to have. So when we're then saying, yeah, like that would be good, I'm like, it's either going to go very well for England, they're going to win it, or I think it's just going to be a poor tournament. I don't see a middle ground with them. There is no getting to a semi. I guess the middle ground will be get to the final and lose, but then that will also be dependent.
Let's be honest. It's win or bust.
Yeah. For me, it's win or bust. For me,
it is. It's the same thing for. It's the same thing for Portugal. It's the same thing for France. These 3 teams, it's all about winning, and anything short of that is a failure.
Yeah.
Anything short of it is a failure. So yeah.
Nah, it's true, man. It's true. Obviously, this was the lineup. We'll go through our player ratings in a second. We'll whiz through that. I'll just go through a couple of the comments. But just quickly, whilst I'm going through the comments anyway, Junior, you spoke about Harry Kane, and obviously the fact that he obviously always drops deep, which is something that does quite annoy me at times. Because sometimes I'm like, you are playing like false DM, at this point in time, and then when you are playing in those positions, yes, at odd moments it can work. Because I don't want to. I know people always like to work in absolutes, right? They're like, oh, you're saying it never happens. At times, yes, England will have runners. Of course they will, but it's not frequent enough, in my opinion, in order for you to continuously keep doing that and playing in that kind of position, unless you're going to play maybe a 4-3-3 and your 3 in the midfield are going to be, more of a bog standard Gini Wijnaldum, Jordan Henderson, Fabinho, where we're just sitting in, we ain't moving, we ain't doing nothing else. How do you kind of see with the whole Harry Kane, situation, and how that link up is going to do, throughout this tournament?
I think it could be a hindrance to the team if he keeps doing that, if he's playing around those certain players. Because England yesterday, it seemed like they wanted to pass their way to goal instead of taking risks, trying to take shots from range. Like when you got players like Foden, Palmer, Kane, they want ball to feet, and it's like you need someone that's just a bit different. For example, a Rashford, a Sterling, who didn't even come. So I think it might be a bit of a hindrance. But if you've got someone like Trent in midfield who can just make something happen, out of nowhere, it could be a good thing for the team because Trent likes runners. I think he'll probably like someone like Gordon because Gordon likes to make runs in behind, but he can also do ball to feet. But yeah, I just think if Kane keeps dropping deep, I just don't see the point in it.
No, I feel you, man.
Whereas if you got someone like Tony, he can do that, but he also stays up top. He doesn't always do that. Or if you got like a Watkins, he likes to run in behind and just stay up top. But then when Kane's just dropping deep, yeah, it's just, I think it's pointless sometimes.
Nah, I fully agree with you, man. What about yourself, Michael, man? Obviously, listen, Kane's been excellent for Bayern Munich this season. I mean, let's not do the whole he hasn't. But when he plays for England, I know he scores goals. And to be honest, really and truly doesn't actually really matter because he's actually scoring goals for England. Well, he scored a lot of goals for England. Not that many in tournaments, but he scored goals in a general sense, right? But what are we saying in regards to the link up that he's going to need to have in order for England to have a good tournament?
I think this is where Bellingham is key in this situation. Because who played in the 10 role yesterday? Was it Foden?
Foden, yeah.
I think they were rotating Palmer and Foden.
Yeah, they just kept swapping over like all the
and it wasn't. They didn't perform well yesterday, either one of them.
I think Palmer
was better. Yeah,
he put one on the
Palmer
plate
was
for
better.
Kane. Yeah.
So, I think the thing for Kane is at club level, he's got Sonny making a run. Sometimes Musiala, but Musiala doesn't really want to do those runs in behind, or Kingsley Coman, and he's making those runs in behind. This is the issue, and I think Harris talked about it. Is that Kane he wants to play DM? This guy. He wants to build up play. He wants to finish the goals. He wants to do everything, bro. He wants to be a quarterback and a safety all at the same time, bro. Stick your ass into the box and get the goals. But I think he won't do that in the later. Maybe he will do that against Slovenia and Serbia because England will have a lot of the ball and Denmark. But when it goes to a France or Italy or Spain, one of those games, maybe in the knockout stage, then you're going to see Kane maybe be where the two center backs are, driving with the ball. It's an interesting tournament for him. I have to look at the wingers and I'm like, do you guys, are you that much of a threat? Like Saka's really got to step up at this tournament, even though like I saw crazy stuff this morning where he was like on the newspapers and everything. I was like, nah, not this again, please. We're not doing with this nonsense again. That's where I look at Saka, and I don't know who's gonna play on the left. That's the more frustrating thing I think with Southgate is why did you not take Rashford, who's gonna make those runs in behind? Gordon can do that, but Rashford has shown at the international level that he's able to perform. He scored at the World Cup. And that was a weird decision by me. So Kane's game will, I think, evolve and maybe differentiate from game to game, really, just depending on the opponent. I don't expect him to be DM against France. Why would you do that? That's where you have to look at Rice and whoever plays in the midfield, Kobe Mino or Conor Gallagher. Yeah, look, it's an interesting tournament.
If he's going to play against France, then I would expect him to drop deep because they start Konate, and Konate, one thing Konate loves to do is free roam. He's just a free roaming centre back. Like he just comes out of position sometimes, and
same with the Upamecano.
Yeah, both of them. And Upamecano plays for Bayern, and what Bayern centre backs love to do as well, they love to follow their striker. We saw it against Real Madrid when who was it? I think it was Vinny when he drew out Kim Min-jae, and then Crucius split them open.
Yeah.
So stuff like that, it could be useful when he drops deep because, like I said, he will draw Konate out and try and thread a ball to Saka, or whether that's Gordon or Eze on the left. It could be useful, but against low blocks, I just don't see a point in it.
I almost feel like it's like I said before, and again, listen, look, this was time ago, and you had three of the best, attackers, strikers in the world at the time doing it in Mane, Firmino, and Salah. But I almost feel like you can do that role, but you're going to need split strikers, i.e. Mane, Salah, i.e. Sane or Musiala or whoever, or Gnabry, whoever, Coman, Matisse Tel. You need almost that split striker. You need almost that Vinny Jr., Rodrigo, and then you've got your whoever, let's say it's Bellingham potentially or Hosselu, but they've got the split strikers. And then that's where they will provide that threat so that when you do drop, that's not a problem. It's not an issue anymore because they're now basically going to become that two up front, and you're almost going to dictate everything in there, which, as Michael said, That's what you want to do. Like you want the ball in every position because you want to spray those passes because you're good at doing that. I get that. That's not a problem. You are good at making passes. You're good at all that technical stuff. We get that. But if you then don't have like-minded attackers, even Saka, he likes to hold the width. Saka's not inside forward. He's not someone who's going to play in that gap between the left back and the what do you call it, and the centre back. You don't want to do that. He wants to play on the outside of the left back. So when he's dragging the play all the way out there, I get it, because then you start to think, maybe if I put my number 10 in that position, he'll start filling the pockets. But what we started seeing yesterday, bro, Foden was in no man's land. Like, this guy was just, he ended up getting to a point where he just started drifting into positions, but it almost felt like, and I know it's not like this, but it felt like he just walked into a position because no one else was there. And because he just felt like, I'm in the way over here. Palmer's doing whatever he's doing on that side. Gordon's doing whatever he's doing on that side. Kane is being Kane. So I need to find another spot where I can just stand. And all he was doing all game, just popping off the ball here, just moving it there. And I'm like, maybe that can work. And again, I don't know, because I don't know what's going to happen in the tournament. But when I'm watching him, you could see straight away that it's just not working for Foden. Everyone else looks like somewhat okay in what they're trying to do. But with him, he just looked lost. And I'm like, maybe then you're going to need to remove or just play a free in the middle to allow Kane to do what he was trying to do, to then allow Gordon and Palmer to play as those kind of strikers, because Palmer will cut in. Palmer will kind of play almost, if he's going to play on the right, he can play as that almost inside forward, so to speak. He's not really going to be on the outside just chilling there, doing like trying to take on his man and do all of these things. He'll play a little bit more inside if you're going to use him on that side. But
you know
listen,
what? You know what? I was just thinking. I think Elise can. I think he can play for England, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he can.
He wants
England, France, Nigeria. That's the three countries he can play for.
I think Algeria as well. I heard.
Yeah,
but I think with Elise, if you see his role for Palace, he's more of that inside forward. He does drift out wide. Yeah, but he has
he does both.
The wing back. What's his name? Munoz. He has him on the outside, and when he's playing that right 10 role, then drifting out, it is kind of helpful. So if you have someone like Walker that's making the runs, when Elise, for example, if he was to kind of drop into that pocket, and let's say if he's able to play a free ball out for Walker, I think that is something that England could perhaps use instead of someone like Saka just holding the width. Because sometimes I'm looking at Saka when he's going 1v1, and it's like, how can I say it? It's not pointless, but like he's
oh Jesus,
I don't know. I think England needs something a bit different.
No, bro. Listen. The reality is, like all players, and this isn't just a Saka thing, because I like Saka. I think Saka's a good player, like very, very good player, right? One of the better right wingers out there in football in a market that I don't think is that great. So he is the top player. But there are parts of his game that you can just see that depending on the system, obviously at Arsenal, clearly it works because he's helping them to come second in the Premier League the last 2 seasons. But there are times, and even times this season just gone by, where I was almost looking at Saka and like, yeah, you're not that effective. Like, you're not really, the team probably could have done without you and still got the same result. Like, you weren't that effective. And I've seen that in quite a few games this season. Obviously, more often than not, you're going to see him perform because he is actually a top player, right? But you'll see, I felt like I saw more games in this last season where I didn't feel Saka was that important than I did the season before that. Whereas that season before, where they obviously came second to Manchester City and obviously fluffed their lines at the end, I was like, like they actually need Saka. This season, I was like, yeah, you still need him, obviously, because he's a top player. But some of your decision making at times, I don't know, they were just a little bit off. But again, that might just be tiredness. I don't want to crash it on these players, so to speak, because they are good players. Hence why when Michael said about how far England can go, bro, it's win or bust. I'll be super honest with you. It is actually win or bust. Just before we kind of close it up, like there is one more player, and obviously you probably know who. I brought him up before. Everyone keeps talking about him. I'll ask you both, where would you play him if you were making your perfect England team for the tournament? And that's Trent Alexander-Arnold. Michael, where would you play Trent in your team in the tournament?
Well, when I did my lineup, I didn't even have him in the starting 11. I'm gonna be honest.
Guys, go and watch it. In fact, I'm even going to get the link right now so you guys can
No,
go
no.
on, continue. Continue. No, continue.
To be honest, Trent can play in midfield. But then are you going to trust in transition? Are you going to trust Declan Rice and Trent to defend in transition on counterattacks? That's my only issue. Then you're going to leave Declan Rice in isolation there. Play him right back. Look, the thing is with these teams that you're going up against, they all have 3 very good strikers. You have Vlahovic, you have Šeško, and you have Rasmus Højlund. And all of those, they're just, if Trent would play a right back, they would all just target down that right side. That's what they would do. So that's my only conundrum with Trent. Obviously going forward and creating and all this sort of stuff. No player created more chances. Of course, look, it's Trent. The guy is a creating machine. But I'm just more concerned defensively. Because clearly there is no leadership there's no leadership in the defense. There's no Maguire, who I actually think, you can say what you want about Man United, but when he plays for England, you're you're an asshole, G. You're an asshole, G. Nah, you're an asshole, G. Because then I didn't even start Cole Palmer, and people got at me for that. What was I
Guys,
yeah,
I watched it as well, and I liked it. But by the way, I don't want to ruin it. I want people to watch the video.
Yeah.
I like the team that you put out. By the way, I wasn't too fussed with it. But anyway, sorry, I interrupted.
No, yeah. So that's just my only conundrum is just defensively, where do you play him? Because if you play him in the 8, you're asking a lot of Declan Rice. Whereas we saw with Declan Rice at West Ham, he had him and Souček next to each other. Like, those guys are both basically defensive midfielders. If he plays in the 8 for England, you're going to leave Declan Rice isolated. And other teams will look at that. You know, Serbia have a good midfield. Denmark have a decent midfield. Slovenia, not the greatest midfields. And then if you go further on in the tournament, imagine if you play Declan Rice and Trent up against France's midfield. They will get murdered in transition. Absolutely murdered. So that's my only issue. He could be a great super sub, but I just don't know where to play him in this team. I really don't. If you had like a prime Kante in the midfield, I'd be like, yeah, just stick him there. Kante will just cover everything. 99% of this world is covered by Kante, and let Trent do his thing. But is Declan Rice that sort of guy? That's my kind of issue.
Really.
Not really, no. But this is also international football. The game is a lot slower compared to club football, so maybe that will suit Trent as well. A lot more time on the ball. You see his passes that he's playing in the friendlies. I don't know, G. I mean, where would you play him? That's like, it is a big conundrum. Because you have to think to yourself, if you play him at right back, you're asking of a lot of him defensively.
Let's put it this way. Make sure you guys obviously stay tuned next week when I do drop my England lineup. I'm not going to reveal my secret straight away. I will do that review on England. Guys, I've just dropped in the chat as well. Michael's got a show coming up later on today around about 6:30. So make sure after this stream that you guys head on over there.
Tomorrow, G.
Tomorrow.
Yep.
Make sure you guys obviously smash a like. But listen, look, I'm still deciding on who I would. There's obviously certain positions already, so like obviously goalkeeper, who I would play at like left back, striker, and stuff like that. But when it does come to him, I keep saying it. He's so unique in what he can do. The problem is with a player like that, you're almost like you're asking quite a lot of players to facilitate what he does. And remember, it's not like he ain't scoring the goals. Like he ain't Messi or Kane or, somewhere I'm facilitating because he will actually win me the game in that sense. I'm facilitating so he can do the passing thing, which by the way, I don't want to discredit, is really, really good, right? Excellent passer, probably the best in world football, whatever you want to say. And he creates chances, created 2 chances or 3 chances yesterday. That's what he's kind of all about. But I saw that from right back. So when people are talking about putting him in midfield, I'm like, I just don't feel you're going to get that same. I feel like you're going to get exactly what we saw yesterday from England's midfield. Iceland were carving it open. Like the midfield was open. And I was just like, I don't even understand because Mainu and Rice were both there, but still gaps everywhere. Iceland fruiting on goal. Like I said, they should have gone 2-0 up in that game, but what's his name? Fluffed his lines. No problem. But they were getting chances though. And that was the issue for me. Now, Michael said it there, and he watches a lot more international football than me. International game is a lot slower than it is obviously in the club side of things. And it might not necessarily be so much bogged down to the tactical side if you've got the individual players to potentially win the games. I can get all of that, and that's fine. The problem I have is that it's like I said before, where you got like, say, Hungary have got, say, a Zabozalai. Like, when I say Zabozalai, I mean in terms of profile of player, right? He'd be the highest profile player. When you look at, say, someone like Portugal, obviously with Ronaldo, when you look at an Argentina with like a Messi, and when we were speaking about, say, France with Kylian Mbappe, even though they have actually got other good players in there, they're like the player who is the star player or the high profile player. He seems to be like a level above everybody else anyway. Even though the rest might still be deemed somewhat good, he's like a level above everyone else. No problem. When you look at with England, I always feel like you're in a situation of, you could say Kane is the best player if you want, but could you then turn around and say Foden is that much further like behind him? Could you say that Trent is that much further behind him? Like, I don't think you're going to look at it and say, yeah, these guys are like, they're actually like 2 or 3 levels below. Now you're like, they're probably almost equal, like, so just in their own respective positions in terms of the type of players they are, like a Trent in a right back. So when we're looking for England, I'm like, they've got the individual quality, but they're having a problem in terms of who they're trying to build this team around, because you don't have that one guy. Like, France have the Mbappe as well as having the Griezmanns. Obviously, when they used to have the Pogbas, they've got Kante now back into the team. They've got all of these other players, but they will try and facilitate for someone like an Mbappe, even though they do still have these other players. But he is going to be, in his eyes anyway, he's hoping to be their main goal scorer in the tournament. England, I don't feel like Southgate anyway is playing towards that, because I feel like he feels he's got so many of these good players in the team. Do I play Trent? Do I play him in midfield? Do I play him right back? Do I try and play the team towards Harry Kane? Do I allow him to drop deep, which allows Foden to do this, which allows Saka to do this, Gordon, Palmer? Like, I feel like he's a bit confused in that kind of regard. Sorry, go on.
No, G, I was just going to quickly say that England have to look at the approach that France had in 2018. Who do you think was the star man in 2018 for France? It was everybody.
Yeah, it was,
everybody's Kante to Pogba to Griezmann to Mbappe to Giroud. Then obviously center backs, you had Varane, you had Pavard stepping up. All of those guys. There was no. I don't look at one dude and say, yeah, he was the reason why they won that World Cup. It was clearly a team effort. Same with Italy in 2021. They were just such a good unit, and the one thing Italy had though in 2021 that's scaring me with this England team so far, and that's the problem Southgate is having, is they had a midfield that could control games. You had Jorginho, you had Barella, and you had Verratti. Those guys could just pass around anybody. With this England midfield, do you feel that way? That's like No, exactly. So that's going to be a big issue, is that when you're controlling the game, you have a lot of good players. But do they fit the profile of, okay, let's keep possession, or is this England team more built towards playing in transition, counterattack? We got the speed, we have the counterattack, we have the players who can find a pass. That's going to be the issue. I don't think Southgate, with the team in 2018, 2021, and the last World Cup, this team was very good defensively, and they just had clinical forwards. Now that this team has a couple new faces, like the Foden, like the Palmers, Gahey, Kobe Mino, and these sort of guys, what is really Southgate trying to build with this identity? That's kind of the issue. Because you know what you're gonna get from Portugal. I mean, Portugal got ballers all over the field. Spain, we know they're just gonna pass, and get G excited because of all the 800 passes they'll do in a game. Then France are just dynamite in my opinion. And then Germany, I mean, I look at Germany and look at Nagelsmann. I'm like, he's done more in like 6 months than Southgate has in the last 6 months.
Yeah, you can see there's
you can see. Yeah, there's actually like an identity with this German team, and the only issue for Germany is they don't have enough. What's the problem with Germany really? Striker, but Kai Havertz is getting the goal. So there's a lot of teams where you have question marks. But at the Euros World Cup, this is actually crazy. Hear this. Heading into that last World Cup, England didn't win for 7 straight games. They lost almost every game in the Nations League. And what happened in the first? And then what happened in the first game at the World Cup? They won 6-2. What happened in the second game? They drew with the USA. What happened then? They beat Wales. They beat Iran. Beat Senegal. So we can have all this. Oh, this team is not good enough. Oh, get rid of this manager. It's gonna be a crapshoot. Then it gets to the tournament and players turn up. It's friendlies at the end of the day, people. G has played friendlies. I'm sure Harris has played friendlies. I couldn't give a shit about friendlies. Tell me when the league starts or it's a cup game, and I'll give my best. That's why you can't read too much into it.
No, of course. Sorry, go on.
I think the Netherlands is another team that is a team without an identity. Because I'm a Netherlands supporter, but you know what? Whenever I watch them, it's like what's the project? I can't stand Koeman. Like honestly,
that guy's a bum. We all know that.
I've not watched.
I watch his press conferences, and it's like I remember he had a problem with Gravenberch because he I wouldn't say he rejected the under 21s, but he wanted to get fit and everything, and it's like he just dropped him for the next few international duties, and that was when Gravenberch in the Europa League was playing well. He did against Everton around that time, and I just look at the Netherlands as a whole. It's like, how can you have De Ligt, Virgil, De Vrij, Van der Ven, Ake, Timber, Geertruida, and you concede so much chances. I remember we went through a period where we played Italy in the Nations League and Croatia. And the amount of chances that we were conceding, it's like what's going on? Yeah, the tactics. I think I preferred Van Gaal. I didn't like the style of football, but we did at times get the job done because we were also still conceding a lot of chances. But I think that goes down to some biases. Like there's certain players in that team that I just think, yes, you can have them around, but they can't be starting. And I think Michael, I think you know who I'm talking about. Blind.
Who? Oh yeah, Daley Blind. Jesus Christ. Blind. I cannot believe he got selected.
Yeah. I was kind of shocked actually when I saw the team, and I was like, "Oh, Blind made it." But then I started looking everywhere else. I was like, "Oh, Matson didn't make it." Fair enough.
Yeah, but my take on Trent on where he should play. I said on Thursday, if he was to let's say if Real Madrid was to sign him, I wouldn't mind him being in midfield as a 6 because he will have a lot of time on the ball, and defensively, let's be real, Cruz. I think his stats are good, his defensive stats, but when you watch him sometimes,
Cruz is a good defender.
He is, but there's times where I've seen him play in the 8, for example, and he's quite easy to get around. But this season, especially, he has been good defensively. But if he was to put like a Trent in there, he will have a lot of time on the ball. Whereas in the Premier League, no, he's not going to have time on the ball. And I do have question marks over whether if Trent can deal with that pressure. Let's say if he's playing against a high pressing team like City, if there's a Bernardo Silva on him, is he going to be able to deal with that pressure? Yeah. Does he have that great ball retention? Not really. It's not as good as let's say Alavia at Southampton, where he could deal with those high press situations. And then when you play him at right back, it's like, what Trent are you going to get? Are you going to get a Trent that's good going forward, not holding square all the time, because that's what he loves to do, just hold square. Is his defending going to be good? There are question marks over Trent, but at the Euros, like I have to say, we need to see him against a bigger team to judge him, because we've seen him against Bosnia, we've seen him against Macedonia, where he did bag. But these are very small teams. We need to see him against France or Portugal, and Germany, and Netherlands. We need to see him against those big teams because we can't just judge him against these small teams. So, yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that. By the way, Xerxes is injured. That's why he wasn't selected.
He just signed for AC Milan, isn't it?
No, that's rumors. It's close, but he's injured, so that's why he wasn't selected.
Well, okay. I thought he'd actually signed, but fair enough. If it's close, he's a good striker, by the way.
You know Fabrizio, man. He's got to get the clicks and the money.
Yeah, man. I saw that because I saw it. I was like, had AC Milan actually signed him? I said, you know what? He could really do a job there at AC Milan next season. But if you're saying it's just the clicks,
I remember when we were signing McAllister and he just kept tweeting the same thing. Oh, it's close.
Oh yeah.
Jesus, bro.
Every day.
Remember, these people get paid for their tweets, isn't it? Like, so he knows what he's doing.
He just changes the words.
Yeah, he just changes the words.
I don't know. Gee, did you see the photo I uploaded on Twitter where it was Fabrizio promoting shirts with the tweet?
Oh, bro, I told you already.
Like,
Look, Fabrizio, if you're ever watching this, my guy, I hear what you're trying to do. Listen, you're trying to branch out there and sell T-shirts. That's fine. I promise you, though, ain't nobody care about no tweet on a T-shirt. Here we go is your staple caption. Just have that on a t-shirt, and it doesn't even have to be massive. It can just be small in there, and you're
Exactly.
good to go. People will wear that. I would even look at that and see if I saw that in Primark. I'd be like, hey, you know what? I know what that is. Here we go. Blah blah. Don't do this whole nonsense trying to put.
You know what? You know what? Fabrizio used to be the man for the streets, and now he's just a corporate dude.
Yeah. Now. Yes. He's not. He started going pop. You know. I was listening to him before, old school, and then when he started,
it's kind of like Drake.
Pop tunes. We're not going to go down that road, bro. I'm not going to argue with you here on. We're talking about England, so I'm going to keep it to England. I'm not even going to argue about Drake because, anyways, you're getting me annoyed. Anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap it up there. Anyway, forget about the ratings. I actually didn't really care, to be honest with you guys, in regards to the ratings. It's friendlies, as well, so it's a bit difficult to kind of judge it. Obviously, as I said before, I will do a review on England, and that's where I will drop my team or my strongest team, should I say, heading into the Euros. I'm just going to wait a couple of days just because I don't know if someone's going to drop out, because people are like Gabe. He kind of got not injured, but he picked up a little knock in the game, but carried on. John Stones obviously picked up an injury, had to come off. For all I know, the team might change by the time I do a video if I was to do it today. So let me just wait on that until we're more confirmed with everything. And then, of course, we can then, literally take it from there kind of thing. I'd like to thank, obviously, Mr. Goggins himself for joining. Big up Mike, big up Harris as well in the building. Guys, head on over to Keeping It GTV. As I said before, at the end, at the beginning of this video, I just dropped a video about the new Dragon Ball Z game. Yes, the new Dragon Ball Z game. I said it. Make sure you guys head on over there. The trailer just came out, so I'm just doing a reaction video, obviously, to that. So make sure you guys head on over there. It's pinned in the comments. So just click the link, smash a like button. Even if you watch the first minute of it, I don't really care. Just hit the like button, and then we are good to go. Harris, where can the people find you, bro? Obviously, I just posted your Twitter link in the chat as well. But yeah, where else can the people find you, man?
Mostly Instagram. It's just at the moment, since I'm doing my GCSEs, it is quite hard to manage doing videos and then revising. So once I've finished, I'll be consistently uploading. I think my next few videos will be based on the Euros, of course. I think I might do one on the Netherlands and England. But yeah, I will be uploading back soon.
Cool. And you guys can, of course, you can see in its name, Junior.Game Manager. Make sure you head on over there. Mike, they know you already, but chat to the people there, man. Let them know what they can have coming up.
Tomorrow is Copa America predictions. So the oldest tournament in the world, or the oldest international tournament, in the world. Got the predictions coming out tomorrow. Let's see who's gonna win. I have a strong feeling that Darwizi might turn up at this Copa America, and we're gonna see a bunch of propaganda on Twitter. You say that, but
no. I fully agree with you, because for Uruguay, I think he'll ball out as well. He scored 8 goals in the last how many games?
Bro, he is balling out for them. Yeah, so predictions out tomorrow. Then we're just gonna obviously build up towards Euros and Copa America, and I'm gonna do a match reaction to every single game of the Euros. So I'll be live after the games talking about it. So join me for that, people. We'll be live on when's the first game? Friday. Yep, we'll be live for Friday. Germany against Scott McSauce. And if Scott McSauce drops a double, then oh my god, there's gonna be some narratives to build. But yeah, go check out Michael Talks Football, all that beautiful stuff. And also, actually, later this week is World Cup qualifiers review, because I did watch the. Shout out to you, Ghana, bro. Ghana did it.
Like I say, I'm just keeping quiet for the time being.
In the last
he scored. Yeah. It was actually pretty. They played pretty good game in the second half. Ghana. I watched the game. They struggled mightily.
I just saw the highlight.
No, they struggled mightily in the first half, but it's not easy going away to Mali.
Bro, but Mali are a decent, well-organized team.
Yeah. Do you remember? This is the last thing. Do you remember that meme in the AFCON where the guy was pouring the water? It was the Mali manager.
Oh yeah.
So yesterday in the press conference, somebody told him straight up. A journalist told him, "You should resign."
What did he say?
Oh, he just looked like this. He's like, I'm dead, bro. I'm dead. But it's like I've never seen that actually before. Like a journalist telling straight up to the national team manager, "Resign your ass." Like,
But you get that you get that in like certain international teams.
Yeah,
and countries
of
and
course,
stuff like that,
of course.
with how they are with these managers. But like, listen, I'm just keeping quiet on Ghana at the moment because they have frustrated me for a long. I'll speak about Ghana soon anyway. Like I'll do a video and then potentially later on.
That
Down the line.
that one kid, what's that kid's name? Fatawau, I think Fatawau.
Leicester City, yeah.
Bro, yeah, he was balling out, bro. He was really good. I'm impressed by him. He's 19 years old. I was like, sheesh.
This is obviously come from what was it, Sporting Lisbon, right? And I was okay, when he did obviously make that move and start playing for Leicester, I did think, but maybe I'm being a bit too harsh because he's only 19. So
he's only 19.
What I'm almost expecting. Should I really be expecting it from him? You know, at these kind of ages, maybe not. So
I think it's a bit harsh.
I'm the thing. I'm not saying he's dead. I'm not saying he's whatever.
Wasn't he on loan at Leicester? I think it was a loan deal.
Yes.
I think it might be.
Has he gone back?
I think he might go back to Sporting. Yeah, I think it was a loan deal if I remember correctly. Just to get him some just to get some moment. But he was a really good player. There's a lot of good players for Ghana.
You're right.
He's on loan. Yeah.
So he's gonna. But they've inserted a. Oh no, that was the team that he just came from. Before that, sorry, when the dreams. But yeah, guys, make sure you smash that like button, share, and subscribe. All of that kind of good stuff. I might be back later on today if there's any Liverpool news that kind of interests me. Although there is a topic. Big up Michael because I saw your tweet and I said it's an interesting topic. Speaking about the whole, was it Tom Werner? Was it speaking in the interview about potentially playing football abroad? So, you know, FSG and all of that. The thing is, John Henry, from what I saw in the quotes, he wasn't really like, oh, I want to do that next. You know, that's something that he's looking at. Whether he just meant it in the immediate that he's not looking at it, or where he actually means, no, I never want to see it, fairs. But I might do a little stream on that, see who's about. And then we can obviously chit chat about that because I'm kind of on both sides of that where I'm like, I feel like that's inevitable anyway. So the quicker we warm up to these kind of ideas, the less harsh it will feel on us when they do come and everyone's like, oh my goodness, football's being ruined. I'm like, I feel like these kind of things will always come in anyway. Like, I'll be honest, and I feel like these things almost are needed.
Have fun, G, when you have to watch a game in Tokyo, and then the next game is in Mumbai, the next game is in Dubai, then you're going to have a game in Rome, then you're going to have a game in Buenos Aires, then it goes to San Francisco, LA. Bro, have at it. I can guarantee you this. When that happens, you're going to lose all the local fans. All the local fans.
Okay. So, just quickly on, I'll say this before we leave. I don't want to deep dive into it, yeah? I agree with you, and I'm not sitting here saying that it's a fantastic idea. By the way, I'm not on that side of things. What I am saying though is that sometimes in life, I feel like there's certain inevitabilities. So, what you're saying is correct. You'll lose the local fans. I don't think that's going to matter too much though, because the reality is you're not dealing. Yeah, exactly. And remember, we're not dealing with a club like this ain't. We're not on a club in the lower echelons of the football pyramid where you need those local fans more than you need because you don't have that many international fans. Liverpool have such a massive, like the waiting list for a season ticket. If all of the local fans said, we ain't never turning up to a game, now this isn't to disrespect you guys, but it'll be like, okay, thanks. Just make sure you stand on the side while you're protesting because we need the other guys who are all going to pay their tickets. We all see it. We see all the tourists who come to the games. Like, it's not going to matter to these guys. And all these big clubs, that's just how they're going to look at it is we'll just line our pockets. Now, we're going to go to Mumbai. We're going to go to Tokyo where we've got millions of fans. The amount of money that we're going to make is going to be crazy. Hence why I don't feel like they would care. And I just think with these situations, you don't have to agree with something, but you have to almost just see it from other side of things. You have to, just for you to be able to even understand why they want to do it. And then obviously you can then, combat that. But like I said, that's a conversation for another day. I don't want to get into beef with anybody. Guys, love for joining in. Big up to everybody who's been on the panel today. I'll catch you guys potentially later. Peace.